Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a brand new edition of Big Time Sports. My name is Joe Dunn. Hopefully you'll stay with us for the next 25 minutes as we talk high school basketball all over the area. If you've been with us the last couple of weeks, we've kind of had a countdown to when the basketball tournament starts. Well, it's finally here. Big games coming up this weekend. We'll check some of those best matchups later this week and early next week. But before that, we want to talk some college basketball. That's right, Big Time Sports will be out at Alliance on Saturday for Mount Union basketball, both the men and women. Charlie Jones will be out there along with Dave Sheets to bring you games 1 and 2, both games against Ohio Northern. You'll be able to watch the Mount Union girls game at 6 o'clock on Saturday night and again Sunday at 4 o'clock. Then Mount Union men take on the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern Saturday night at 8 o'clock, Sunday at 2 o'clock. Exclusive coverage, Mount Union basketball, right here on Big Time Sports. Right now, let's take a look at some of the big games coming up this week. Before that, how about some of the big wins? Louisville over Ignatius, 67-65. Now, Louisville has defeated all 4 state champions from last season. Congratulations to the Leopards. How about Jackson over Bookville, 79-65. Hoover over Massillon, a game you saw here on Big Time Sports. Big win, 65-34 over the Tigers. Right now, let's check some of this week's big games. All tournament games coming up. These are all tournament games we're talking about. In Division I, next Tuesday night will be McKinley at Strongsville and Medina at Jackson. Now, if those two teams win, McKinley and Jackson, they will play at Akron North on March 1st. We'll talk more about that next week. Also, Division II, Green will be at Hoover, John Adams at Massillon, Perry up at Amherst Steel. In Division III, Akron North will be at Louisville, Lake at CVCA, and Revere at Northwest as we update you on what's happening with tournament basketball beginning this weekend. We're going to take a break. When we come back, our featured team, head coach Luke Conley and the Canton South Wildcats will be here. We'll come back and talk Wildcats basketball right after this on Big Time Sports.
Ready for adventure? The 2025 Chevrolet Equinox is here. With its sleek design, advanced safety features, and spacious interior, the Equinox is built for your next journey. It combines performance with efficiency. Find yours at Ferris Chevrolet Toyota. Locally trusted, family-owned, and dedicated to your driving needs, Ferris Chevrolet Toyota makes finding your dream car easy.
You're only as good as your people. And what we've done here is we've created a culture where people flourish.
We don't want it to be a transaction. We want it to be something where there's a consultative approach, a relationship that allows us to really, one, ensure our customer the right way, but then two, to let them understand the value of getting to work with us.
It's an extreme amount of satisfaction for this team that we have right now. We've developed a team that is solely based on relationships.
Sometimes life is just not okay. But guess what? That's okay.
And the pain you feel today won't always be the pain you feel tomorrow.
And no temporary situation is worthy of a permanent decision.
And if we give life a chance, we can change. We can grow.
Because it's not the absences of hard times that makes life worth living.
It's the presence of hope.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports. As we said, our featured team this week, the Wildcats of Canton South. Head coach Luke Conley is here. It's always nice to have a basketball team on that's playing their best basketball right now. And Coach, had a chance to talk to you a little bit before your game at Northwest last week, a little bit before the show. I'll tell you what, you're coming off a great win at Carrollton. You had the PAC champions Northwest kind of running for their lives at halftime the other night over at Canal Fulton. So you got to be pleased where you're sitting right now going into the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had a lot of young guys coming into this year. We only had 2 returning lettermen. And, you know, as a staff and as a group, we talked a lot about the importance of, you know, kind of finding our identity by the earlier the better, obviously, but we want to be playing you know, our best basketball towards the end of the year, and that's kind of what's happened. We've, you know, some of the things that we weren't doing well early on, we've had kids grow up, get better and better and better. I think that we've kind of found our niche of how we need to play. We tried some different things early on. Some of it worked, some of it didn't. But you know, we were 3-7 through 10 games, and we're 6-5 in our last 11. And those 5 losses, we've pretty much been in every game. And it's a credit to these guys and the work they've put in every day, because even when we've been at our lowest, they've come into work every day, and that's what you have to do to get better.
That's got to give you and your players a lot of confidence going into that game Friday night up at Firelines to know you're playing well right now. You got the ability to make a tournament run.
Yeah, absolutely. And you brought up the Carrollton win, and that one was huge for us because, down the stretch here, we played 5 really good teams to end our season. That was the only game we won. Now, we were competitive in the other 4, but sometimes it's hard to sell it to a group that, hey, we're playing really well when you've lost 5 in a row. So to go on the road against Carrollton and do what we did, and then, obviously Northwest was a 13-point game, but as you mentioned, we were right there. I think we were down 3 with a couple minutes to go, to a team that beat us by 33 at home, earlier in the year. So to be able to kind of have some concrete examples of what we can be when we're at our best going in is definitely giving these guys definitely a boost of confidence.
You've coached in a system over at Lake that's known for their tournament run, so you're used to bringing the team along and hopefully get in a little nice tournament go. Yeah,
well, these guys know. We've been talking about it all week, just what a tournament win can do to a season. We go up, and if we can go get Firelands on Friday, just the perception, the way it changes your perception on the season. And especially with a young group with a lot coming back next year, with 3 seniors that we have right now that work really hard, it just kind of puts an exclamation point. I told them, you want to end your season losing to a team that is better than you, and going out and going into Friday night, they're obviously a good team, but it's a team that we definitely feel that we can beat, and we're not ready to go out that way just yet.
Take us back to the month of June, Coach, which is always a big month for high school basketball players. Come back to the respective coaches. What did you accomplish in June? What was your thoughts coming out of that month as far as heading into the season then?
We really didn't know what to think going in, just because we were so new. Obviously Tanner and Luke Johnson, who are both here tonight, were my only 2 lettermen. They were 3-year lettermen, and they played smaller roles on a team that was very senior laden last year. So to see the jump they were going to make, we had a good JV team, but all of them played JV. So you don't know how those guys are going to adjust to the speed of the game and the shift in roles and things like that. So we were really encouraged coming out of summer. We went to Ashland, we went to Eastern Ohio, we played at Mount Union, and we were competitive, but we got a pretty good idea of where we thought our strengths and where we thought our weaknesses were going to be. So it kind of gave us a chance to get a little bit of thought going into the season of, all right, how are we going to address some of this stuff? How are we going to make sure that our weaknesses don't get us too bad? And like I said, we started the year slow. Well, we tried some things that we hadn't done in the past because we thought it would help. And it didn't, So you go back to the drawing board, you make adjustments, and that's what we've done. And these guys, have everything we've asked them to do, they've done it with everything they have. And that's a big reason, like I said, why we've improved throughout the year.
You mentioned having a really good JV team a year ago, trying to bring those young guys along and make them varsity players. What does kind of the light go on for those young kids? And it's a lot different than playing at 6 o'clock as opposed to 7 o'clock when the stands are full. When you start bringing those guys along knowing they're going to be able to help?
Well, I think the biggest thing, honestly, that's where I think summer is so important. Just the speed of it, and to know that you just go out and make mistakes. It's okay to make mistakes. The game is faster than it's ever been for you at this point. But to not play scared. If you turn it over trying to make a play and whatnot. But you think about the summer, you play a lot of games. And that's the reality of it. So that's really big. There's nothing you can do to simulate a regular season game. There just isn't, right? So it's one of those things where the first game of the year, you got your timeout ready, because in the first couple minutes, if you see the nerves flowing, you're going to call them. But it's experience. So the summer, I think, can help alleviate that a little bit, but ultimately getting on the floor when it turns to 7 o'clock is the only way to really get that experience.
You brought 3 players with you tonight, Coach. You got a young man sitting next to you. I know that's been key for the season. Why don't you introduce him?
So this is Tanner Bunish. He's one of those 3-year lettermen that I mentioned. He's our starting point guard. Rough start. He broke his finger the second game of the year, a couple minutes in, and had to miss a stretch there, and we definitely missed him. But he's come back, and he's had some really good games for us. He was a huge part of the win against Carrollton. He had 17 and made a bunch of hustle plays. And my favorite thing about Tanner is just the grit. When he is in the mode where he's the kid that a shot goes up and it gets missed, and the next thing you know, he's got it, and you don't know how he did it, because he just knows where to go, and he knows he's got a knack for the ball. So it's one of my favorite things about coaching him.
Well, Tanner, welcome to the program. I had a chance to watch you guys the other night against Northwest. Had a great first half, but what were your thoughts going into that Northwest game? As the coach said, they kind of handed it to you the first time around. You had vastly improved since then. What were your thoughts going into that game over at Canal Fulton Friday night?
Well, I was kind of optimistic because I knew that we had 5 harder games, as he said earlier, and I was just optimistic because I knew we needed a good test. We needed a couple good tests before the tournament, get us tournament ready. So I was really looking forward to how we were going to handle that. And when we came out in that first half and ended the half up 7, I was like, very pleased because I was a little bit nervous on how we would come out, and I didn't know if it would be a repeat like the last time. And we were stepping out onto Northwest, which is always known to have a good crowd there. So
Exactly.
we came out and we handled it pretty well. We started down 4-0 with a couple turnovers, and then we rallied, and that's kind of been our thing for the second half of the season. When adversity strikes in the games, we've been able to rally past it.
Exactly. Yeah, you were up 25-18 at the half. Every point guard I've been around is always pretty much on the same wavelength as a coach. How often do you talk to the coach about game plans and trying to get into your offense and maybe in a transition, doing some different things? How often do you talk to the coach about a game plan?
I'd probably say about every day. We like before practice, I always stop in and talk to him. What are we doing at practice? Trying to see, make sense of it all, why we're doing everything. And I think it's really important to be on the same page as the coaching staff and know where they're coming from, because sometimes not just for me to know, but so I can tell the other players, because sometimes the other players need to hear it from a player, not a coach.
Yeah. Of course, if you're a point guard, a lot of times you'll have to beat that pressure defense. They'll pick you up in the backcourt. They'll kind of trap you at midcourt and things like that. How did you get used to maybe handling that pressure? How were your coach to handle that? And have you gotten better at that since maybe your freshman and sophomore years handling pressure?
I definitely have gotten better at that. A big part of being able to handle that pressure is experience, because it is a much faster game in varsity.
Yeah.
So you just have to be able to remain calm while you're getting all the pressure, and you have to be able to analyze the defense. And we're coached to always have 3 outlets, so you'll have 3 different places to pass the ball. Just take a second, look for all 3. One of them's going to be there.
Yeah, the coach mentioned that you are excellent at knowing where the ball is, and going back to my playing days a long time ago, if I took a shot and I knew it wasn't going in, I'm the first guy to know it's not going in. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you're the same way. And you haven't have that advantage maybe going to get the basketball. Other guys not sure it's going in or not. Mm-hmm. How's that played in your game a little bit?
I feel like I'm able to get a lot of sneaky offensive rebounds and sneaky rebounds, just because when people see me walk on the court, I'm 5'9", 5'10", 140 pounds. Yeah. They kind of write me off right away. He's not getting no rebounds. He's not getting rebounds over our 6-foot guys. So I feel like they kind of push me to the side a little bit and don't think I'm going to do it. But I'm gritty like that. It doesn't faze me. I'll go in with the big guys. It doesn't.
Yeah. How much fun has it been playing basketball down at Canton South? Great tradition. I'm sure you've grown up reading about all the great teams Canton South has had through the years. Tell us what it's been like to finally put that jersey on a few years ago and play varsity basketball at Canton South.
It's meant a lot to me. It's really nice. It was an amazing program we have going on here. It's developed me a lot. I'm a completely different player than I was my freshman year. So I'm just happy how everything played out. I'm glad everything took its course the way it did.
Yeah, you mentioned you've gotten a lot better. What areas, since you came into the program, maybe as a freshman or sophomore, what have you made the most improvement in your ball handling, your shooting, overall visibility of the court, or maybe everything?
Definitely a little bit of everything, but if I had to choose one thing, I would probably say shooting, because I was never known for shooting, and then I've been turning it on a little bit the last couple games.
Well, Tanner, I'll tell you what, you got hopefully a lot of basketball left. You got a big game Friday night, so thanks for coming over today, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Coach, stay put, because we've got 2 more Canton South Wildcats are going to come up and talk a little basketball. So don't go away. We're back with more Big Time Sports right after this.
Ready for adventure? The 2025 Chevrolet Equinox is here. With its sleek design, advanced safety features, and spacious interior, the Equinox is built for your next journey. It combines performance with efficiency. Find yours at Ferris Chevrolet Toyota. Locally trusted, family-owned, and dedicated to your driving needs, Ferris Chevrolet Toyota makes finding your dream car easy.
Altman is here for you, in your community, because you matter. We're proud to be the area's first and only independent health system. We are one team, joined together and committed to one mission, to lead our community to improved health. And we've always been here, dedicated to providing you with the very best in care, wellness, education, insurance, and more. For your community and for your family, Altman is always here for you.
Certified by the American Lighting Association, Furbay's Light Shop is your go-to for all lighting needs, residential, commercial, or industrial. Our experts assist with every detail, from bulb size and fixture type to designing layouts. Visit us for hands-on displays showcasing various fixtures, or log in to furbay.com/lightshop. Let us help you visualize the perfect light for your space. Whether you need advice or want to explore lighting options, stop by or log in to Furbay's Light Shop today and see how we can brighten your project.
Okay, welcome back to Big Time Sports as we continue to talk Canton South Wildcats basketball. Head coach Luke Connolly is here as they get ready to enter tournament play Friday night on the road up at Firelands. And that's up in the Oberlin, Lorain County area. That's a long bus trip up there, Coach. And hopefully you can come back with a W and then move on. That's always the recipe, win and move on in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, the trip will definitely be a unique experience for these guys, and we've already talked about the weirdness of not having a JV game and not being able to shoot and having to go out on the court. So trying to get them ready for that. But yeah, absolutely, we don't want the treacherous bus ride home after a loss. That's for sure.
Exactly. As you know, I had a chance to broadcast your game Friday night over at Northwest. Was really impressed with some of the young guys you got in the program. You mentioned a couple of guys who maybe didn't play, and the future of Canton South basketball, those young kids look pretty good for you. Yeah, I mean, we only have 3 seniors. We'll have, actually, I put on all the letter winner stuff today. We'll have 7 lettermen back from this year's team. And yeah, we do have a lot to be excited about. Not a big sophomore class, but we like all 3 of them. Yeah. And then our junior class has a lot of kids. There's, I think, 6 currently in the program, and I think 5 of them ended up playing enough to letter, and the one that didn't will help us next year as well. He had a good season with the JV, so yeah, we do. We really like the young kids we have coming. What's it look like down in the youth program? Is there a lot of interest down maybe in the grade school area and some of those travel teams in the maybe 6th, 7th, 8th grade area? Our numbers have been a little up and down. And honestly, talking to a lot of other neighboring communities, that's just kind of the trend at the moment. But obviously, you always want numbers at those levels. It's something that I think as a youth board and a group that we'll kind of talk about ways to kind of continue to generate interest. But the kids that are down there are playing hard and they're getting better, and hopefully, like I said, we can continue to drum up some more interest moving forward. Yeah. Tell us about the PAC. That seems to be a really good conference right now. A lot of good tradition. They've had some teams go to the state tournament in the prior years. Good coach. It's a good league. Yeah, absolutely. And this year the league has been very strong. And like we were talking about in the break, a lot of the talent in the league is underclassmen. Yeah. Triway's 6 of their top 7 kids are sophomores. Manchester will bring their 2 best players back next year. Yeah. The player of the year at Northwest is a junior. And some of the teams that were towards the bottom have really good coaches, and they're going to continue to develop too as they get their programs going. We had 2 young coaches in Coach Brotherton and Coach Moriarty over at Fairless. So yeah, absolutely, it's a really good league, and like you said, there's tradition schools, right? Triway had those years; they went to the state tournament. Northwest went to the state tournament when I was in school. Orville has a ton of of history. We have history, so. The move into the league, I think, was good for us, but it didn't get any easier, that's for sure, because it's a good league for sure. Is it hard to build up the new traditions when you get in a new league, the rivalries? I know you were in the league prior to that, where there's some built-in rivalries, and now you got to establish some new ones. Yeah, it is. I mean, we kind of have that rivalry with Northwest just because we were both in the NBC a long time ago. And you kind of have some of those schools already that have that dynamic, right? Triway and Orville have it. But it's just like anything, a couple years, you get a couple good teams, and they just kind of naturally happen when both teams are really good. So, we're hoping to continue to form some people that put a target on our back, right? That means you're playing well. We definitely want that. Of course, last year here we talked about the new gym down at Canton South. That's got to be a plus for the program. A lot of interest down there right now. Yeah, that gym and just our facilities in general. You have the auxiliary gym right beside it. We have a brand new middle school. That gym's very nice. Our weight room is top notch. I mean, we have a lot of really good things going on within the district when it comes to facilities and just places for kids to compete and play. Sounds good. Got another young man I'm sure that you're proud of, has been playing well for you. Why don't you introduce him? Sure. So this is Luke Johnson. He's the other 3-year letterman that we had. And Luke's had a really interesting high school career because he broke his foot right away and barely played as a freshman. Then came out as a sophomore and started some JV games, and then we had kind of some stuff going on with the varsity. And by the end of the year, we played a tournament game, and he started and played 31 minutes in the tournament game. As a sophomore? As a sophomore. Wow. So he kind of got thrown into it. Started last year with all those guys, and has had to, obviously, another kid that's had to take a step up. A kid that looks like a post player, got the size to him, but probably one of our best shooters. Shoots it really, really well. He's had multiple three-pointer games this year. Really smart, loves basketball, unbelievable teammate, great human being. I've loved every minute of being around Luke the last couple of years. Well, Luke, welcome to the program. As Coach said, I mean, you have played a lot of basketball and you got a lot of minutes as a sophomore. Take us back to when you had that unfortunate injury. Then you come back, and all of a sudden you're in the starting lineup as a sophomore. How was that as a young kid coming up through Canton South and watching basketball as a young kid? Finally, you're in the starting lineup.
Well, it was amazing because I always dreamed of playing like basketball at the varsity level as a little kid, and then since the injury, I kind of like didn't know what to do because I was out for the whole season, and then getting thrown into the starting lineup sophomore year was amazing to see.
Yeah. How much better did you get once you got in that starting lineup? I'm sure it was tough playing the guys maybe older, a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. At what point in that sophomore year did you feel like, hey, I've arrived, I can play at this level?
I feel like a little bit towards the end of the year is where I really started to get more comfortable with the pace of the game.
Yeah. What about your shooting ability? Coach said you're one of the better three-point shooters. When did that develop? Was it back when you were in grade school? And who was the first person maybe to show you how to shoot a basketball the right way? Take us back and tell us that story.
Probably my grandpa. He's coached a lot, and he kind of showed me like how to shoot. But just putting in hours in the gym and getting up enough shots to where you can become consistent.
Tell us how many shots you put up a day. I mean, do you come in early at practice, stay late, and maybe in the summertime get out there in the playground or in the gym yourself? And how many shots you want to put up before you feel like I've had a good practice session?
You want to get up in the hundreds and try to shoot on the gun and get as much shots up as possible. That's about it.
Yeah, just continue to get that shot up and get some consistency. How much are you going to miss high school basketball? You've been playing a lot of basketball. Coach said the sophomore year after the injury was a development year, but how much are you going to miss it?
I'm going to miss it a lot because once you're done, you're done.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing like it once it's over.
Yeah. What are your plans after graduation from Canton South?
I'm going to go play college football at the D3 level and study engineering.
Have you decided where you're going to play at yet?
I have a few schools. I haven't really like committed.
Yeah.
Really.
Is engineering something you've always had an interest in, or you kind of just developed that through the years?
I feel like I've always had like an interest in it. And
now, is that mechanical, chemical, what?
Structural.
Structural engineer. You're going to be building buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, Coach, you got a young guy here that I know you're proud of. He's going to be an engineer someday.
Perfect. I need a shed, so maybe you can build me one.
I'll tell you what, you got a big game coming up Friday night. You don't want the season to end. Mentally prepare me how you're going to get ready for that game Friday night.
Listen to music throughout the whole day, watch film, and just like mentally be ready to go throughout the whole day.
Gotcha. Well, I'll tell you what, it's going to be a challenge for you, a long bus trip, but come back with the win and keep it rolling.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take our final break, come back with the final Canton South player that's here with Coach Connolly. So don't go away, we're back right after this.
Ready for adventure? The 2025 Chevrolet Equinox is here. With its sleek design, advanced safety features, and spacious interior, the Equinox is built for your next journey. It combines performance with efficiency. Find yours at Ferris Chevrolet Toyota. Locally trusted, family-owned, and dedicated to your driving needs, Ferris Chevrolet Toyota makes finding your dream car easy.
This moment, it's a choice. To find out what you're made of. To own what's in front of you, no matter what that might be. We showed up, we're here. This moment belongs to us right now.
It's always that personal touch that they know you.
Primetime has people that can help you through every step of the way, and when you're my age, you need that extra help.
You don't want a lot of questioning when you're already dealing with a medical issue. Primetime is trying to help us get down the road as long as we can.
And if you're not in the right situation, a senior can lose everything. I feel with Primetime we picked the best program.
Hey, a quick reminder, Big Time Sports will be out at Mount Union on Saturday, bringing the doubleheader between Mount Union and Ohio Northern, the girls' game early, and of course then the men's game will come the second half of that doubleheader. You can pick up the times. They'll be replayed on Saturday night. On Sunday, Charlie Jones will be out there to give you the play-by-play in color as we go out and bring you exclusive coverage of Mount Union men's and women's college basketball. Now let's talk some Canton South Wildcats basketball. Head coach Luke Connolly getting set to take his team up to Firelands on Friday. And coach, why don't you quickly introduce this young guy? We got a few minutes left. I want to make sure we talk to him.
So yeah, Ronan's one of the kids that made the jump from the JV team last year. He's been our leading scorer. He's averaging about 15.5 a game. He's had a great year for us. He can play inside and out. He's been a big piece. He's really grown since he's been in the program. Well,
Ronan, welcome to the program. I've got my box score here from the other night at the Northwest game. He came in averaging just under 16 points a game. Had 15 at the end of the third quarter. But that first half was special. I mean, you guys really played well. Had that, I think you led 11-9 at the quarter, and then 25-18 at the half. What was going right in your mind Friday night over at the Canal Fulton?
Well, I think we were just moving the ball and sharing it when we needed to. I feel like that's one of our strengths, as our team is we're not selfish, and when we take care of the ball and when we swing it, I think, helps us win games. And then, more than that, I'd say our defense. Yeah. I feel like that's definitely, where we strive as a team is, we can defend those, those tough players. They have Pennington on their team, but I think when we game plan, I think we can shut them down when we need to.
Tell us how much you've improved since you've arrived at Canton South. Obviously, you're a guy that can play early as a young guy in the program. Tell us your strengths and how good you've gotten now since maybe back in middle school.
Well, I'd say my strengths now are probably shooting the ball, and then maybe defense. I'd say post defense I'm pretty solid. But I mean, even if I think back to 8th grade year, I was honestly never the best. I was never the best player on the team or anything like that. But I think as soon as I hit high school, with more experience, I thought a lot of my skills were improved. Yeah. Especially having good teammates. They get you those looks to help you get the confidence and the experience. So I think, with the help of the coaches and our team, I've been able to improve quite a bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, congratulations on staying with you. You just admitted maybe you weren't the best player back in middle school, maybe some guys ahead of you at that time, but you stayed with it. How much effort, how much practice, how much time did you put into where you are right now from where you were maybe in 8th grade?
Well, I'd say for a long time it was probably what I did most of the day. I mean, I remember after school, out of season, I'd go to the YMCA,
sure,
get a bunch of shots up. And then even, I remember a lot of times during 8th grade, we'd finish practice, go home, eat turkey sandwich, and go back to the YMCA, get some more shots up. Yeah. So, I mean, it's really been a huge part of my life, and I've always wanted to improve. And
it sounds like you love the game of basketball.
Yeah, I do, and I've always wanted to be one of the best. So I've devoted a lot of time and effort into.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're doing a great job as a junior right now, and you got a lot of basketball left. So best of luck in the tournament trail, and thanks for coming over tonight.
Thank you,
Coach. This is the kind of guy you can build around, right?
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that we're really excited about. And not only is he a talented player, he's a great teammate, he's a leader, he's vocal, and he really cares. And you can kind of hear it in his answers. He's just a passionate kid.
Exactly.
Someone that as a coach you love being around.
Well, Coach, I enjoyed your game over at Northwest. Great effort. I think you're ready to make a tournament run. So thanks for coming over tonight. Best of luck.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, for head coach Luke Connolly, I'm Joe Dunn. Back here next week when the Green Bulldogs will be our guest here on Big Time Sports. We'll see you back here, and as always, have a great week.